Welcome to a new episode of the ChileKnitz Podcast. My name is Connie, and I am the dyer behind ChileKnitz yarns. I have not recorded in a really long time because I've been busy dyeing for different fairs, mainly Barcelona Knits and Vogue Knitting Live. Also, not right after, but like a little bit time after the last episode, there was a social, political situation in Chile that's still ongoing, and so I decided to take that time off to see what's going on. It's still happening, so I thought it was a good time to take some time off to reflect. I went a little bit quieter on Instagram as well. I didn't feel it was appropriate to either promote yarn or just talk about knitting at the time when heavier things were going on in the place that we live. So it's something that is right now a little bit dormant, but it's not gone altogether. We'll see what happens now in March. Hopefully it's gonna get resolved in the best way possible. We're all hoping for a better life for everybody in the end. So enough about that. I think political views are not part of a knitting podcast, for me at least, and so I'll just leave it at that. But that's basically why you haven't heard from me until now and in between shows. So I'm going to try and make this episode as short as possible. I will put a slideshow in the end with all the pictures of all the events that I've been to, so you can, if you're interested in that, so you don't have to watch it in the middle, you can just stay after I'm done and look at what went on. But for now, I'm just gonna start quickly recapping a little bit of what I've been doing. So I traveled to Barcelona in November. Barcelona Knits. It's right around the second or third week of November. It was this year, and so I went a week ahead of time because I had to plan how to set up, and I also wanted some time to visit my friends who live there, and went with my mom. It was really cool. She was totally up for helping me at the booth, and so we traveled together. It was really nice because the last time we did a mother and daughter trip was when I turned 18. I'm an only child, by the way, so it's kind of a special thing for me to travel by myself with my mom because it's just the three of us. So basically whenever we went anywhere, it was the three of us. And so just traveling with her, and right now that I have kids and a husband, it was really nice. We enjoyed it very much. My mom really likes art, so we went to the Miro museum. And it was really nice going with her because she knows a lot about art, and so it felt really nice to being there with someone that knows a lot about what's going on behind the scenes of what you're looking at, basically. It was really interesting. I loved seeing all that artwork that you normally see in books or online, and seeing the size or whatever, because you normally see little pictures or you Google them, and you never really realize how big they are. You can read it there, but it's still it doesn't really give you a spatial idea. It's, to me, I need to see it in person. So it was really great. And then we went to Park Güell. I'm sorry for the lighting right now. It's gonna be a little bit weird. I just had some time to record when my kids went to a park, and with an adult, of course, not by themselves. And there's the evening sunlight coming in, and so it might get really, really exposed, and then I'll just have to switch it. But for now, hopefully it's gonna be okay. I'm just gonna try and make it quick. So we went to Park Güell. We enjoyed it. We've been with my mom to Barcelona before when I was little, so she sort of knew her way around the place and knew all the places. But it was still nice to see it again and refresh the memory of being in such a special place. I'm a super big fan of Gaudi's work, and so to me, like, if I go, I'll just like go check out his artwork or his work, basically, like every year that I go. Hopefully I'll be able to go again to Barcelona this year, and I'm not sure who's coming along with me this time, but whoever comes along, he's gonna come along with me to some sort of like Gaudi building. The trip there was quite long, of course. I didn't sleep at all on the plane. It's really hard for me to fall asleep flying. And we arrived in the morning. A good friend came and picked me up. She was with another friend who was also visiting. And so we spent the entire day together. We just dropped the stuff at the hotel. And I was like a zombie a little bit, but we really enjoyed it. We ended up even buying like makeup and going for lunch and then going for tea and knitting all over the city, and it was like super fun. And the next day we sort of got together again with other friends. We really enjoyed it. We knit. So the second day we got together again. We were knitting all day. It was like heaven. My mom doesn't knit, but she was like super happy. We were all chatting and like talking about different things. And in the evening, Tuva from Norn Yarns sort of texted me, or actually Lotte did, that's her friend. And they sort of like go out to shows together. And so they came over, and then my mom and them and me, we went all for dinner. It was lovely. They took us to a really cool restaurant where they had like this really crazy cactus succulent shaped dessert, which was absolutely amazing. I'll just put a picture of it here. And we really enjoyed that. It was really nice seeing them. We had met last year in the previous edition of the show, and we sort of got along. We were right next to each other. This year we weren't. We were like a little bit far away, but right across from each other. We were like, no. But like, it was okay. And the fair experience was really good this year. The energy was like, people were super happy. It was a bigger venue as well, so there was a lot more people. At some point I felt like I had to become an octopus to be able to like do all the things at once, to help a lot of people, because they obviously, you want to meet everybody and you want to know what everyone's going to knit with the colors that they're buying. So like, I'm sort of like very curious like that, and so I want to like be able to multiply myself and just talk to everybody. But it was amazing. The only thing that I regret is that, of course, because I'm working, I can't really spend more time with my friends. We have a little like chat group where we like talk all year. But the thing is, like, it's really cool when you're like with them in person and you're like, oh my god, it's so strange to like not have to talk to you through a phone, you know, because it's like what you always do. But in the end, the time we had together, and even if it sounds corny, I cherished. So the only thing I got from the fair, a little treat, was this gorgeous knitting bag. That's the brand. It's called Knitting Unicorns, and it comes with, well, there's things inside, but it's got like pockets inside on both sides. And they also have, she also sells some enamel pins, which are the cutest. I really like them. I haven't placed them anywhere yet because I'm sort of waiting for the perfect bag for them. Or just whenever I use this one, I'll just place it. Because I haven't yet to find a project to go in here. I'm a little bit crazy and I like my projects to match my bags. I know, it's just insanity, and it cannot always happen. So whenever I can make that happen, it does. So I'm going to mix a little bit of like finished objects with events from the fair. For the Barcelona Knits Fair, there were 2 designers, well 3 actually, that designed a couple of designs. They designed designs with my yarns. The first one is called the Shana shawl. Shana shawl. It's designed by, I'm gonna place a picture because the lighting's really crappy. It's designed by Tejera en Inglés. Her name is Belén Fernández. It's in English. The pattern's in English, so don't worry. I know it's a Spanish name, but it's in English. You won't be able to see it here. I'm just gonna place a picture. It's mosaic knitting, which is something that I really like. and all of the things a lot of the things I'm gonna show you right now are mosaic knitting. The pattern's super quick to knit. It's really entertaining because you're like changing speed all the time with different colors, different textures, different stitches. And so I knit it in like a super short time because I really, really enjoyed it. The next one is called Meraki. It's designed by a Chilean designer called Susana Lobos. She also designed this specifically for Barcelona Knits. This one actually looks a lot better on camera. So it's darker. So I was talking to Liz in Vogue Knitting Live about the word Meraki because it's a Greek word. And she told me it's like creating or doing things with your soul and your love. So I love the meaning of this. I actually think it's like a stunning pattern. It uses 2 skeins of yarn, very contrasting ones. And if you're wondering, this one's called Velvet and this one is called Planta Carnívora, which means like a carnivore plant, you know. I don't know if you call them like that. I'm sure like a flytrap, maybe like a Venus flytrap. We call them carnivore plants. So easy. And the last thing that I don't have with me, so I'll place a picture, is that Julie Knits in Paris. We had a collaboration for last year. For this year, she wondered if we could do it again, but change the sweater into like a cardigan, a different color. And so I shipped the yarn, and she knitted like the speed of light, like oh my god. And she had it down, and it was absolutely stunning. I was super happy as well because the buttons she chose to use for her version, the vendor of the buttons was actually at the fair, so people could actually get like all the ingredients to make their cardigan at the same place, which was really cool. People were super excited. She only came up to the booth for like 5 minutes. We took like this really quick picture. She was teaching, so she didn't really have much time to go around. I wish we had more time to hang out because I love her. She's like the most energizing person that I've ever met. I think she spreads joy with her antiques and her singing, and I just love everything about her. So well, overall that experience was wonderful. My mom and I think we were really happy together. We sort of really enjoyed spending that time together that we don't really have anymore because of the kids and life. And so it was good to just like hang out, the 2 of us. And then we came back home. I had to start dyeing up some stuff for Vogue Knitting Live, and then sort of like the whole Christmas, New Year situation started, and so not much time for knitting and no time to podcast as well, because like, to be honest, like I don't really like to record if I don't really have any knits to show you. Like I'm sort of I'm okay with sometimes showing like what I've been dyeing because it's like my job basically, but I feel a little bit more comfortable just showing what I'm knitting because that's basically the reason why I started dyeing. And so I feel that if I have no knits, then I really have no content to show you. At least one finished object, right? Like there must be some little knit. And so, well, after the New Year, of course, I traveled to Vogue Knitting Live. My husband came along with me, Danny, and I was super like apprehensive and worried that he wouldn't know like how to help me properly with the booth and stuff. But I think he actually really enjoyed it, and he was the best helper that I've ever had. Like he helped me to hang all the lighting, to like place all the yarn when it was messy. He was like insanely like a good helper. But at the same time, I was missing my friend Jamie because he was supposed to help me at the booth as well. But he had an accident before, like a few weeks before the event, where he slipped on ice and like tore his like, I don't know, like knee ligament or something. And so he had to have his leg like in a sort of cast. He couldn't walk around. So we went to visit him. We took some lunch over, and I brought him gifts to cheer his day up because like I'm sure he was like super bored like all the time. He had to stay like super but anyway, for what Danny and I still did some touristy things. We went to Rockefeller Center, we walked around, we went to Bryant Park, we went to eat to lovely places. So we basically enjoyed the trip a lot. And we also hung out with some of Danny's family. He has family that lives in California right now, but whenever we travel to US, they sort of make it happen so we can meet. So it's really nice of them. So we went for a nice dinner and then a few like walk around and just like hang out as a family. And well, before Vogue Knitting Live, I had been talking with Natalie Kuntz from Neri Neri, and she designed. The idea was that the design was gonna be launched for Barcelona Knits, but in the end, it just couldn't happen. I don't really like to rush anyone when they're designing, so she was like, I'm not sure I'm gonna make it, like, and I was like, no, Natalie, just don't worry, like, we can, like, Vogue Knitting Live can be the place where we're gonna launch this design. And she sort of gracefully agreed to design something with my yarns. I've been watching her podcast and looking at how she designs things, and I really like her style and vibe, and so she agreed to design something for me. And then she came up, I'm gonna show some pictures because really it's just there's too much light. She designed a shawl called Arquitectura. The original colors actually have the Gaudi colorway from the Gaudi sweater in it. Like, this is the Gaudi sweater, so her design has this color in between the other. It uses 3 skeins of yarn. So I'll show you a picture of that as well, so you can see what the original was. Since it was impossible to release it for the date that it was intended, it's okay, because you could use the colorway for any other thing. But she called it Arquitectura anyway, because, well, Gaudi was sort of an architect as well, and so kind of like went through that thought process. So basically this design has mosaic work, has brioche, some garter, and it has an I-cord edge. It is not a difficult pattern to knit at all. It was super entertaining. I knit it pretty quickly because I was super excited to finishing it, and I really liked how fun it is. It's super playful. I mean, I'm very happy with it. Thank you, Natalie, for designing this. I'm super chuffed, and I hope many people knit it. Oh, look at the edging, it's so cute. Also, I talked with Brani from Casa Pinca. I'm not sure if you are acquainted with her. She also designs, I mean, I've loved her design for a really long time. I've loved her design for a really long time. I actually approached her to ask if she would ever be interested in working with my yarn, and she was like, oh, I'm super busy, like, do you have like a timeline? And I'm like, no, it's okay, like, whenever you're okay and you're inspired, just let me know, like, what sort of thing you'd like to work in. And so we got like talking, and then we sort of realized we're both going to Vogue Knitting Live, and she literally like designed a shawl in like 3 weeks, and I was like, whoa. She basically finished it the day before the event started, and so at the time we had no pictures for it, but she showed it in her class. It's right here. It's huge. I'm gonna put a picture because you won't be able to really appreciate it properly. It uses 3 skeins of different colors each and 1 of mohair. If you're not prone to knit with mohair, I'm sure you could replace it with another color of yarn. It's really pretty. I'm not much into scarves or wraps, but this one I really liked because you can tell that like it's got a lot of different stitches, a lot of different angles. It's like there's a lot going on, but it doesn't look like there's a lot going on. So it's kind of like super fun. I kind of like the construction. I have this one, which is not mine. It's hers. She didn't pick it up at the booth, so I had to bring it over with me. And at the same time, since she hadn't taken any pictures, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm a photographer. I'll just get some pictures done, and then I'll mail it back to you. And so here it is. want to give it back, but I have to, right? Well, before going to the fair, I knit this sweater to Vogue Knitting Live. It's a Yume by Isabel Kramer. It's knit up in my new base called Glitter Sock. It's a 4-ply, 75% merino, 20% nylon, 5% silver stellina. It's a really nice yarn. It's kind of firm. I have the feeling that it's not going to peel that much, you know? That's why I kind of ordered it. But it's a limited edition base. I'm not sure if I'm going to bring it when it's done, when it's gone. I'm not sure I'm going to order it again because the supplier took forever and ever to get it to me. I mean, he said it was going to take 3 weeks and it took him 4 months. So I really I can't really rely on someone that's not reliable, basically. And so I'm sort of in the fence. Maybe if I'm not pressed with time, I can order it again in the future. But since I still have a lot left, I think we'll be fine for a little bit. So if you want to get your hands on some, I probably by the time this is out, the update will be done. I did not have time after Vogue Knitting Live to take pictures of all the new colorways and all the yarns have been dyeing up. So hopefully, after this, maybe tomorrow, I'll just be able to take the pictures and put them online. So probably by the time this is edited and on YouTube, it's gonna be online. And so the next show up, basically we're just from Barcelona Knits. We went to a little bit of Vogue Knitting Live. I do want to, before I keep on showing you any knits, I want to mention that I shared my booth with Liz from ChileKnitz. We're friends. We met a while ago. I don't remember how we actually met. I think we met through common friends from Greece. And then we sort of bumped into each other in person at Rhinebeck, and we sort of been talking for a while, so we felt like we already knew each other, and it sort of went from there. And when I got offered a booth at Vogue Knitting Live, I was like, this booth is too big for me. I'm traveling from so far away. I really can't fill it up properly. And so since I knew that Liz was going somewhere in that dates, or she was traveling to New York, or since she travels a lot, I was like, do you think that do you want to share a booth with me? And she's like, yeah, that could work. And so I asked the organization at Vogue, and they were like, oh, that's okay, you can share it. And so it was great because our yarns sort of I think both our yarns are happy yarns, happy colors, and but they're completely different to each other. They mesh well as well, I think, and of course spending time with Liz is never a sad story. We had a great time. I mean, Liz, I think, talked so much that by the end of the fair she had no voice at all, and so poor Liz, she had been a bit under the weather for a while, and so no voice. It was kind of funny because she was trying to speak but she couldn't. But it was overall a great experience. We really, really enjoyed spending time together. We kind of worked really well together because we had the same idea in mind. Whenever we were setting up the booth, I was like, we should do this, and she's like, yes, and she was like, we should do that, and I'm like, yes, and it was perfect because we never had any difference of opinion and stuff like that in sort of setting up and stuff, which is you're stressed, you just want to get it done and for it to look good. So, overall, a great experience. Hopefully I can come back. I've talked to the organization. I think they will be okay with me doing that. Maybe I'll share it with Liz again. Hopefully she'll say yes. And otherwise, I might just get a smaller booth if she can't come along, and I'll just set up in a smaller area. So, continuing on with finished objects, and I am so sorry this episode has been all over the place, you guys. I just it's just so much information, and I'm not used to having so many things to tell you about, and so right now I'm sort of jumping all over the place, so please excuse the podcasting mess, but I'm just doing whatever I can. I'm out of practice as well. So I'm reading my notes. So I've knit this shawl. It's called a semaphore. I'll place a picture because the lighting, you know. So it's basically like fingering weight yarn and mohair. Again, if you're not prone to mohair, you can knit it with another color of fingering weight. It's like a triangle short road garter and lace shawl. It's beautiful. When I saw someone knitting it, I think like a customer came over and she was like, I want yarn to knit this, and she showed me a picture and I'm like, oh my god, like I had to basically, I immediately, like when she left, I immediately picked some yarn and printed the pattern and started knitting it the same day. I couldn't help myself. I sort of got enamored immediately by the pattern. It's beautiful, and I have actually used it quite a lot. It's super warm. It's I don't know if I said it, but it's designed by Jessica Gore. I think I did. I picked a Neon Diva colorway for the fingering weight, and for the mohair I used my bubblegum colorway. Some of those colors are in the wrap that Casapinka also designed. So well, I'm wearing pink. I love pink. Even though my favorite color is red, I think that I don't know, I think I wear more pink than I do red. And I'm planning new knits with pink yarn. So it's like inevitable. I think probably pink is my favorite color, but there's this thing, like, you know, like I really love the look of red. I see red things and I'm like, oh, it's amazing. But whenever I want to knit, I sort of gravitate towards like pinkish and neon pink, and it's sort of like hard for me to stray from that sort of palette. And I've met a lot of people that have the same sort of feeling, not necessarily with pink, but like I have a friend who always knits with purple, and like whenever she tries to leave her comfort zone, she ends up anyway with purple. Like it's sort of like you gravitate towards certain colors and it's inevitable. Like it's when you're knitting to wear them, basically. Like for me as a dyer, like I love playing with all sorts of colors, so like I really enjoy dyeing all of them, but I don't know why, like whenever I want to knit something, it's just like it's pink. So I have another shawl that I finished. It's also designed by Casapinka. It's called the Kitty Invisibility Cloak. Kitty Invisibility Cloak. And in this case I mixed red and pink, which are, as I said before, my favorite colors. I'll take a better picture because you can't really see it here. It's a two-colored pattern. You basically have to use very contrasting colors for it. Look at the lace; it's just so pretty. And I knit this in 3 days. Like if you want to knit something as a gift for someone, or even for yourself, but like if you really need a quick knit. It looked really small before blocking it, but I blocked it a bit aggressively, and it's not small at all. It's just like a normal sized shawl. It's so beautiful. I mean, I think I'm gonna wear it as a scarf, like this. It's really, really, really warm here in Chile, so I like it. So I think, well, this pink is called Sugar Skull, and this red is called Julie Red. It's the same red that Julie Knits in Paris used for her Gaudi cardigan. And well, I was kind of obsessed with it, so I wanted to knit something with the color and found this pattern by Rani from Casapinka and fell in love with it. And here it is. And okay, so I also have this thing in my mind where I want to not wear any more store-bought sweaters. And I know it's crazy because obviously I can't knit that fast. So I showed you before that I knit the Yume by Isabel Kramer, and then I knit the painting sweater, which is just take a picture of the yarn so you can see it better. This is the Pixie colorway, and this is my Nove fingering base. It's very soft. It's basically just a raglan simple sweater. It's designed by a designer called Katrin Schneider. I had never heard of her before. I sort of found this picture of the pattern on Instagram, and I was like, oh, I need to knit that. It looks like a quick easy knit. So like to be able to fulfill my purpose to have like lots of sweaters for this winter. And so then I looked into her Ravelry, and I'm obsessed with all her designs. I definitely want to knit like others, or maybe another one of that in a different color. And it was quite a quick knit, I think. I think everyone should have one. It's like just a basic sweater you have in your closet to wear all the winter, like all through winter. Next but not least is my striped Asian shawl. You probably have seen it. It's a design by Mr. Steven West. It's very big. And I'll put a picture of it here because the lighting's not really helping. And I'm sort of stressing out because I feel that my kids are going to come home in any minute, and then I'm going to have to stop recording and I'm not going to be done. So I knit this shawl when I was at my holidays back from Vogue Knitting Live. I want to thank everyone who went there and supported me. It was really an amazing experience. I am really happy to have been able to meet a lot of you in person, and I hope I can go again. So I knit this Asian for my holidays, just at the previous Casablanca with the red one as well. I've been dying to knit this for a long time. I had knit the DK version ages ago, and Danny spilled some red wine on it, like probably like the second time I put it on, and it was a tragedy because I could not take the stain off of it, and so then I dyed it black, but it didn't really because I had knitted in like a specific color, and so it just didn't have the effect that it had before. So I might have to knit the DK version as well again. It looked really nice on, and I was so happy, but okay, well, things happen, you know. And so when I started knitting this, I was super excited because I was like, yeah, I want to knit it again, but using different materials. It's gonna be fun, different colors, and I really did enjoy it. I knit the large version. It's huge. The picture that I showed you is the unblocked version. Now it's probably like twice as big, and it's crazy. But I love it. I love a large shawl because when it's winter and it's super cold, I like something that I can wrap around many times, so like my neck is super covered and I don't feel like any cold getting in. And of course I'm in love with the colors, and funnily enough, it's not pink. It's light blue, white and purple. These are also my yarns. I used my new glitter base for the fingering weight part, and my mohair for the edging. So I think that's, thankfully, all of my finished finished objects. I do have a couple that I'm working on right now. One is my Yume sweater. Another one. Remember I said I wanted a quick knits so that I could have like sweaters for the winter. I'm at the ribbing. I still have a little bit more to go here, and then the sleeves. I'm not sure if I said it, but it's designed by Isabel Kramer. I think I did. And the other thing, I couldn't help myself. I really wanted to finish the Yume sweater before I started a new project, but while I was at Vogue Knitting Live, Liz hung in her display a beautiful shawl designed for her yarn. It's called the Lizzie shawl by Sosu Knits. So I started, well, it's the other way around, really, like if you were looking at it, but the whole time while I was at the show, I was looking at it constantly. I couldn't stop, like my eyes just went towards it, and so when I saw the designer, I was like, I'm gonna have to knit this, and I'm gonna tag you when I do, so you see that I will. And yesterday I was knitting on the sweater, and I was like, you know what, like I need to knit this shawl that I saw on the trellis side of the booth. I will start it, and then what I will do is, because the sweater is just like, I'm a little bit tired of knitting it. I think it's because the same color I used for the edging, so I'm not sure if it happens to you, but when you knit exactly the same color all the time, you start getting a little bit bored. And so what I've decided is I'm going to finish the ribbing of the sweater, and then I'm going to do a section of the shawl. And then I'm going to do a sleeve on the sweater, and then I'm going to do a section of the shawl again, and then the other sleeve. And then the sweater's going to be done, and then I can work on the shawl. I'm sort of like negotiating with myself. I think it's a good compromise, don't you think? So those are my my ongoing projects. I have a few that I want to knit in the future, but I think I might talk to you about that in the next podcast. Last but not least, I just wanted to talk to you about a little purchase I made. I met up with Joji Locatelli at Vogue Knitting Live. We've sort of met each other before on and off in different occasions. We have friends in common. And so she went to visit me. Okay, so I'm trying to adjust the exposure because it's just going crazy bright. So as I was saying, Joji Locatelli came to my booth to visit. We've met each other before, sort of like, I think I consider her my friend a little bit right now. And she's lovely. She's a great person. She's a wonderful designer. I admire her work so much. And she went to visit. I was super happy to see her. I felt that there's someone that I know is with me, and it feels like you're a little bit home, and it's sort of really nice when that happens. Her mom was there as well. I had met her as well before. And Charlie, her husband, who is like a super fun, friendly guy. And so we were there hanging out, and it was super nice. She congratulated me on my work, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You're congratulating me, and I congratulate you. You're amazing. And it was like super funny. We took some pictures. So anyway, when I went back home, like here for the holidays, and I was with the holidays, I realized on Instagram there had been an update, and she had put these up. I'm sorry about the state of my nails, but I'm just giving them a break from all the nail polish. And I loved them immediately, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, like, I was at the lake house, and there's not much like good internet signal from the phone or the roaming, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get in and see if I can actually get this, because like whenever I want something from Joji's shop, I'm either like 2 hours too late to see the notice, because it doesn't really appear chronologically, or like when I go, everything's sold out anyway. So I managed to snag a few, well, just one pair of these, and so I sent her a message like, I made it, because whenever I wasn't able to get anything, I was like messaging her like, oh my god, I'm never able to get anything from your shop, it's always like empty. And so I asked her if she had a pampa bag like left over, or if she ever had like one that she could like sell me, because of course through the website it's super difficult. Whenever I go, there's literally like nothing regarding bags. So she's like, okay, I have to send a few to some shop, and I'll just save one for you and send it to you when I send you the earrings, because I was away, so she was gonna send me the earrings like a few days later. And so I got this one, and I'm super excited because I love the blue, and my project's in there. And I'm super happy with my pampa bag. I love the size of the bag. It's just perfect for shawls and sweaters and stuff like that. It's just great. And I love the way that it's just like stands up, so it doesn't like flop around. So you just like put it there, and it's like a little bucket that you knit out of. It's just, I love it. And I was super surprised because she sent me a gift as well, and I was like, oh my god, I literally almost cried. Look at this. I love it, and it's got like the big strap and all, so you can carry it. I have a wedding tomorrow to go to, and I think I'm gonna use this as my purse. Thank you, Joji. I was beyond happy when I saw this. Came along with my things today, and it was crazy because like they let me know yesterday that they had mailed them and they arrived today. It took 1 day to get from Argentina to here. It's like, I know we're neighboring countries, but it's still insane. So yes, so I have no words. I'm super thankful. I'm really excited. I want to wear this as my purse all the time. I might not be able to because I have little kids, so I have to carry more things around than normal, and I normally have bigger ones, but whenever I go out, this is going to be my bag. I don't want to use it as a knitting bag. I want to use it as a purse. Thank you so much. I am extremely thankful, and I was super surprised when I got it. I think that's well, in Vogue Knitting Live, I didn't really buy myself anything. I got a little. Speaking of Miss Jorge Lopetegui, Mrs. Jorge Lopetegui, I got this fixed needle little kind of wallet thing, pouch. I don't use interchangeable needles ever. I mean, I started with them, but then I sort of reverted back to fixed. So I use Chiago red lace fixed needles. I bought like the little ones for socks or sleeves. My gauge changes, so I think I probably need more practice to be able to give you like a proper review on those. So I'm just gonna hold off, maybe next time. So I think I've covered everything. I'm really sorry if this was like totally convoluted. I'm just gonna leave you with a little slideshow of both of the fairs and my knits, or the things that the photos I took with all the people that came to visit, and the photos of the booth. And I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I am super happy to be able to record it again. I missed doing this, and well, I hope you liked it. Big kiss. See you soon.